start that streaming there.
Alright.
Yeah, Ebony, I think what I was talking about earlier in the chat with spell storage, I think it's just a +1 bonus.
Spell storing? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
+1.
But
Okay.
is it the sword that I gave you?
I was gonna see if I might be able to
Substitute one of the enhancement bonuses for.
Because I think the enhancement bonus on it is like Thunderburst.
Shocking Burst.
Yeah, basically that. And I can already do that with an enhancement if I want. So I was thinking since that's a +2 bonus, I was thinking of maybe seeing if I might be able to exchange it for 2 storage slots if you would permit that.
Hi everyone, we're starting the stream.
Hi guys.
Hello, how are you? This is
Nuzzles
the wall. Why? Why would you do this?
You did it last. And you spit Cheerios on your computer.
I know, right?
I went back and listened to it after the stream, and I fucking died.
God damn it!
Because I left the call and I didn't.
I ended up. So for those of you, the viewers out there who weren't here last night, something hilarious happened, which made me. I had gone over to get Cheerios, like a bowl of Cheerios during the break, and I think it was Luna who said something.
When I came back, it was between the both of you.
It was someone. It was someone said something, and it literally made me spew Cheerios all over my computer screen. So I have spent the last hour of being home before prepping for this stream just cleaning up my fucking monitor from the leftover streaks of milk driblets that have like dried up on the screen. So that's been my evening.
Big off.
Yeah. So
it was a combo of the two of us that made that happen.
Yeah. So
Like,
for those of you, for those of you who are unfamiliar with these kinds of streams, we do a D&D campaign. It's called Secrets of Eternity, and it involves many of our mutual friends going along in a D&D campaign created by our very own Ebony Inkstone. But I don't. The thing about these campaigns is that there's like 34, 35 episodes of this campaign. It's very, very long. It takes a lot to get someone caught up and invested in this story. And so what we're doing tonight, we have a couple of players who are not feeling very well. They're basically unable to play tonight. So what we're doing tonight is we are doing a sort of fireside chat where we give sort of a recap of the story thus far. And so anyone who's wanting to watch this stream or the VOD afterwards, they can watch this instead and get caught up on the story up to the point that we are currently at the time of this recording. So, this story takes place 400 years, roughly, after the events of the current main campaigns, Evil Campaign and all that. Morgalla has been defeated, and none have heard word of him in the last few centuries. Our story begins with two mercenaries, one by the name of Grom, and the other who goes by the alias of The Wall. Now, these two have traveled together for a decent time. They've taken on the typical mercenary jobs that you would see the typical adventurer taking. And they were joined by Slavey, the gnome, right? He was a gnome.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We were joined by Slavey the gnome. What was Bruno's paladin's name?
Lycan.
Lycan the paladin, and Aria the I can't remember what she
Aasimar?
was.
She was a bard.
Yeah, she was an Aasimar bard.
Yeah.
So, hello, chat. I see what you're wanting me to do the Kermit the Frog. I know. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm telling a story. So, we get this job to accompany someone. He's sort of a nobleman. He goes by the name of Duncan, and he is he appears to be a human, a noble, and we're just tasked with accompanying him to what appears to be some sort of new ruins which have cropped up on the outskirts of Manhattan, a city on the northern coast of Lake Naya. And what we end up discovering in there is what appears to be a vampire brotherhood of some sort. We go through this dungeon and we encounter many, many different creatures that are, let's just say we already had a character death by the end of the dungeon. 2 almost. With the uncovering of this, we end up discovering all of these different aspects of ancient Nertorian written texts of a man by the name of Dio Brando. And so,
bitch.
Yes, bitch. And so we end up going back and investigating this further. We unfortunately lose our gnome friend Slavey to a bitch of a vampire known as what was his name? He was the dude with the whip.
Tsuya Brando.
Yeah. He ended up trapping our gnome friend with the whip and unfortunately pulled him into the dark depths of the dungeon as we were trying to escape. We unfortunately were not able to rescue him, and that was our first party death.
Wait,
there are many more.
This was the gnome.
This was the gnome Slavey. This was our first party death, the first of many to come.
Wait, should I mention? Should I mention like out of campaign stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Like things that like it was planned. That was a scripted death.
Not really. No.
Oh,
This is all sort of like a narratives thing. I'll bring in sort of out of character things if it becomes
necessary.
a necessary explanation, but yeah.
I also want to add that even though Slavey died in the first sessions, he did participate in one of the most cool moments of the whole campaign, which was the missile.
Yes, he was the gnome missile. He was our missile. And it was brilliant. So, returning to Manhattan, we have, I think this was when we got the audience with the king, right? We got the audience with royalty after that, and we discovered that Duncan apparently was a descendant of this family, and it turns out that we were traveling with what we can assume was a prince of Manhattan.
Yep.
And yes, Murdoch, it is spelled Manhattan.
Yep.
It is literally a fucking meme at this point.
And also on that
Mm.
note, you realize by on that dungeon that Duncan was not a human.
Yes, he is in fact an Undine. And so
Yeah.
we discovered that from a very unfortunate incident involving, was it a mummy?
Yeah,
It was
There
like
was
a
a-
skeleton.
It was
Skeleton.
some sort of it was a
Haunted.
mummy and skeleton minions alongside it. So Duncan essentially died, and then Arya performed a one-time only ability where she was able to essentially battle res him, and in exchange, she essentially lost her ability to communicate in any way, shape, or form for a long time. Anyway, moving on. We decide during our meeting with the king, he sends us off to a town by the name of Roxy. Now, the Wall is quite familiar with this place, as this is his hometown. But on our way out, we encounter our greatest companion. The one, the only, the icon of the fucking chat of this game. Tedpa, the Grippli alchemist, who on our first night spending the night with, essentially blew out the entire floor of an inn
I
that we were.
I don't think that was the first night. I think it was like
Was it
one or two
Oh.
by then.
it was one of the first.
It was one of
nights.
the. It was one of the first nights. He essentially blew out the windows and everything of the room that we were staying at, and we had to fucking book it. And sometime during our travels as well, we ran across the two tiefling siblings.
Azaeriah and Ayame, or no?
Ayame?
Azaeriah.
Okay.
Aya, and let's see.
Or,
No.
yeah.
Azaeriah was the first. Azaeriah and Solar's character
Azrael.
It's not it's not Ezreal. It's not the fucking League character. Oh man. So Esh. We just call them Esh and Azaeriah. These were two tiefling siblings, and unfortunately on our second outing, Azaeriah met her end, and we stuffed her bones into her own bag of holding to be with her skeletons, as we know she would have wanted. And that brings us to our third set of characters who came along with us.
Ayame and
this one was Ayame, and I think it was Ebony's other character that he brought.
it was the bard or skald or something.
It was the Skald?
It was a Skald, yeah.
The Skald, yeah. Was it Balrog or something?
Yeah, Balrog.
Okay. So they joined for a little bit on our trek to Roxy. Now keep in mind, this is all on our trek to Roxy from Manhattan, which should only take about 2 weeks. So
But it was like a Pokemon anime episode.
it was like a
and it took
Pokemon anime
3
episode.
years. It
Yes.
took 3 years to get from
3
Azalea
years.
Town to Goldenrod.
Exactly. Now on our trek to this town, we reach the outskirts of the city at last. And we encounter one of our most beloved NPCs of this campaign. He is a centaur by the name of Shadilay. He is Shadilay the centaur. And he is the broest of the bros. And we spent the night at that location. We, I believe, got ambushed by a vampire at this location, and we managed to subdue him. Managed to interrogate him for a short while, and learned of a vampiric presence in Roxy. So, at this point, Ayame decides to leave because she's had enough with Balrond and the rest of the party, and they end up having a bit of a spat, and she leaves.
She also crossed Duncan.
She also crossed Duncan.
Yeah.
And so she leaves.
And Metapah performed his greatest explosion.
Yes. It was quite brilliant. And so we trade out our kineticist, our I think it was our fire kineticist was Ayame.
Correct.
For an air kineticist, the small child, Sayira, also known as Sari, also known as Blast Them.
I thought you were going to say the other thing.
No, I'm not going to say that. That was from the before times. Sayira was the small sylph child that we brought along with us, who could blast people for metric fuck tons of damage.
Yep.
Right. And what time did you meet them in?
Just out. I think it was inside Roxy as we entered Roxy. I think it was the first day.
Yeah, we were in a bar. We were in a bar.
This is probably. I actually have art of this. Let me pull this up here. I'll actually pull it up on the stream as well. This art is brilliant.
Because we can't do anything normally, we decided to introduce ourselves to her.
Yeah, we decided to introduce ourselves in the greatest way possible. So I had the wall. First off, he rolled a successful perception check to notice her like peek her head down below the windowsill. So I had the wall fucking rush the window, leap, acrobatics check, natural 20, outside the window, burst out the window, land behind her, and then stand. And I will post this image in the game time chat momentarily as I pull it up on my phone. Because I got it saved on my phone because it's the only thing that I bother updating nowadays. It is truly a masterpiece of titanic proportions. It is the wall meets Sayira. It's brilliant. So that was our introduction to Sayira, one of Kai's, also known as, to most people here in the chat, Emogak. Their character for, I think, the longest running character of theirs. So, traveling along in Roxy, we encounter the Wall's family. His mother, his father, and his 30 siblings.
They just popped them out.
They just popping them out, one right after the other.
Yeah.
Jesus.
How many twins were there?
Probably a lot, but the Wall, his identity is revealed to be John Joster. For those of you unaware, in a long-forgotten campaign of mine, I created a character named Joseph Joster as a unchained rogue in a campaign that I was in, and so I decided to expand upon that. And so, John Joster, the Wall. I see the chat. My God, that poor mother! That's a lot of birthdays. So So we decided, what interesting things could we get involved in here? The Colosseum, of course. Me and Grom go investigate Colosseum, and it turns out that a man by the name of Giorno Brando, a long descendant of the noble family of Brando, is in the stands for some reason.
Also, just to remind you that Giorno was also counselor of the king of Manhattan.
Right. Excuse me. And so Giorno was a counselor of the king and a noble descendant of the Brando family. And he had many, many guard friends, of whom I forget literally all the names of. But he was at this Colosseum for some reason. He was roaming around town, and we found it quite strange. And so we investigated. And it turns out the Colosseum's head, the champion of the Colosseum, I forget his name, but he's an asshole. Huh?
Mustasim. Sorry, I just read Guti's comment.
Mustasim. Oh wait.
I can't unsee it, Ebony. I'm sorry.
It's true. And
it's like you tied a little blue ribbon around it to make sure you knew it was yours.
God damn it. So... Actual height. Anyway, carrying on. It turns out that the Colosseum that me and Grom and eventually the rest of the party decided to enter in was being run by the vampires. And it turns out that underneath all of this fighting and entertainment, that a sinister plot was brewing underneath the city in the deep sewers of Roxy. And so we charged in and killed literally everything in there, including Mustasim, who apparently was also a vampire Undine, who was also the brother of Duncan. And we killed his ass, and we took his loot, and we also had Sierra take the door, because it was gilded and we could sell it for a lot of money, apparently. And we got that money.
Well, to clarify, the door was actually solid gold.
Yeah, the door was solid gold, and we sold that door for the actual amount. But Duncan still hadn't paid us. And so we continued our quest. And this eventually took us through all of... Let's see. Where did we go next?
We
in that dungeon. Oh, yeah. In the dungeon of the sewers. Esh lost his arm, and Duncan died.
And Tedpa
died too. Sad day. And so we left the sewers briefly to recuperate ourselves, and we got a new companion, a Dampier who was hunting her own kind by the name of I forget your name.
Vis.
Can you spell that for me? I can't understand. I'm sorry.
Vis.
Vis. By the name of Vis. And she joined us for a little while, and then left, and then
Zaketa.
Yeah, you met
Zaketa
him.
joined, and we went along to. Let's see. We went to back to Manhattan after we went through the sewers, and there was a lot going on during that time. I'm honestly not sure that I caught all of it, but
also another detail
apparently
is that out of that You discovered back in that the sewer dungeon
right?
that they were trying to do something with dragon blood, because if you
Yes,
remember
yes.
the ice
I
blood,
remember. I remember.
yeah.
They were trying to do something with dragon's blood. Now, we hadn't figured out what necessarily he was doing at the time. But stay
And
tuned. We eventually
uh,
figure it out. So,
and time went
yes,
by
also time in these dungeons apparently goes by a lot slower than it does in the real world. And so, an hour or two spent in these dungeons tends to be a couple of days in the real world. And so, keep this in mind. Now, going forward, we decide to return back to Manhattan with this new information of this big conspiracy of the Brando family. Because apparently the entire fucking family of Brandos were vampires the whole time. And no one ever spoke up about it until today. And so we returned to Manhattan only to find that it was under the effects of some sort of time magic. So, we investigate, and it turns out that Dio Brando, the man who was roughly from 400 plus years ago, has decided to take on an essence of Morgalla, the ancient dragon, to try and further his power. We're not entirely sure at this time to what ends or to what extent it is still Dio or still Morgalla. And thank you, Mr. Red Dynamite, for the $10. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying this recap of our campaign so far. So through trials and tribulations, we end up destroying a giant mechanized Venarin, which appears to be in the visage of a familiar champion of Nertor by the name of Zeal or Bhakti. And so we defeated that mechanized monk. Monk. Mechanized monkey monk. Monkey mech. And we ended up getting these robes which allow the wearer to traverse between the material and the ethereal plane. And so the wall decided to put those on and see what is causing this disturbance in the city. And it turns out there was some sort of evil presence possessing the king. Now, unfortunately, with this discovery, we had to commit regicide and kill the king of Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the time spell released, apparently, I think. Right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Yes? Okay. So that released, and we saved the city once again. And then we stayed there for a couple of days while we investigated and scryed on Dio and
we got Fayara. We got Fayara in the team.
Fayara.
Oh yeah! We got Fayara. Yeah, we got Fayara immediately after doing that, I think, right?
Yeah, Ash and Sierra ran away together.
Ash and Sierra were sent out on a quest from the Queen, and eventually Fayara, an elven witch, joined our party, and she was quite mysterious. She seemed very knowledgeable of a great many things, but this discovery was short-lived, as the town erupted in panic as, was it orcs came in to attack?
Yeah, orcs.
Yeah, orcs came in to attack. and the wall did the wall things. And apparently there was a guy on the roof of a
Oh yeah, the city was on
building of
fire.
some kind that fucking like shot fireballs at them, and we thought he was causing all the fires of the city. And so Fayara fucking hit him with a will save, and he failed it, and so he just fucking fell asleep. And yeah, we figured out that he was an envoy from was it
that magic city.
Magnestad, the magical city of Magnestad, deep within the Madarhina Desert. So we decided, you know what? You're coming along with us. And he was like, what? And we were like, yeah, we'll save. This becomes a trend.
Baby.
This you may notice becomes a long-running trend for a little while.
Take a shot every time someone changes characters.
Take a shot. You have to take retroactively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 shots as of right now. You don't have to do that. Trust me. Don't do it. But so after he joins, it turns out he knew Duncan in the past, and we reveal to him that Duncan fucking died. And we do let's see. We decide, you know what? We're going to spend some time in the city. We're going to upgrade all our stuff and spend this golden doors worth of gold that we managed to acquire. And so what we ended up doing was we spent about 3 weeks in Magnestad, upgrading all of our stuff, getting our equipment all pimped out with stuff. And then Grom got the idea that he wanted to get some Giant's Hide armor. Now, Giant's Hide armor allows him to grow in size and basically makes him bigger and stronger and faster too. He will be the first member of the DK crew. Now, we go to this town on the outskirts of Renfall, just on the edge of the Scarenroof Mountains. And apparently there's some sort of mercenary group terrorizing them, asking for the Wall, Grom, and various previously affiliated members of the group that were at the time no longer with us. And it turns out that we were wanted men for mercenaries. And so these mercenaries attacked us, and sadly, Zaketa died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was that again?
Zaketa was he was the thing is, until you mentioned that he was a summoner, I just thought of him as the archaeologist.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, I didn't find myself very attached to that one. With all due respect.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of all the PCs at this point.
What he had going for him was that he was Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, he was basically Mads Mikkelsen. But it was a beautifully edited picture of Mads Mikkelsen, by the way. I have not seen a paint job quite that good in a very long time. Anyway. Anyway, so Zaketa died, and we buried him at that outskirts of the town in that location, and we spend the night there. Apparently, one of the waitresses at the inn had the hots for the Wall because she served him waffles and was really flirty about it. And I don't remember all the exact details, but apparently there were some mercenaries that returned to join up with that previous group of mercenaries whom we had ended justly. We had ended them rightly. And so we go out and we face them and we fucking kill them. And apparently we get knocked out because GM Fiat wanted us to be in jail.
Wait. You skipped the part. We released Shadilay and some other prisoners and found Ori as well.
Oh yeah, Ori.
Wait, when was I totally like that? I totally blanked on that. I'm sorry. At some point between this and
It was
that,
directly after the fight. It was
It was-
directly after the fight when Zaketa died.
right,
we
so
freed
right
Shadi.
after Zaketa died, I'm sorry about that. I that totally blanked on me. We killed these undead frost giants that that one of the mercenaries had under his control that was terrorizing the town. And after defeating them, we managed to release our old friend Shadilay, the centaur, and a new friend of ours, quickly becoming fast friends, Ori, the lizard folk bloodrager / paladin. So it's a very, very interesting combination, mind you. So we spend the night there. The waitress flirts with the wall. We encounter those mercenaries that were trying to join up with the previous group of mercenaries whom we had killed the previous day, and then we promptly decide to end them rightly, and then we get knocked out by GM Fiat and get put in jail. Drow jail. GM Fiat put us in Drow jail, where we met a good friend of ours, Roland, who is the descendant of Alvor.
Thinking about it, all this time since I've joined, I'd always been wondering how exactly were they able to fucking restrain the wall? That wasn't in this campaign, but I knew about your build, and I was like, how the fuck were they able to restrain him? Was he like? I wonder. Was like a family member was threatened? Was a party member threatened?
Nope, it was GM Fiat. It was GM Fiat. It was knockout gas. Knockout gas got us and put us in Drow jail. Not just any jail, but Drow jail. Now, if you don't already know, if you haven't followed this campaign from the very start, the Wall, Grom, and every single character up to this point fucking hates drows. We are racist towards them. We want to drown their literal drow city in the Metapah desert as our end game. As our end game is to drown the drow city. We want to commit genocide upon this entire race of humanoid creatures. We are a very chaotic neutral group, mind you. We are not the good guys. Dio just decided to rub us the wrong way. This entire campaign happened because Dio decided to be a dick to the Wall and Grom.
Well, Fang leans lawful, but even she hates Drow and does not fucking care if you destroy them. So
we get put we get put in Drow jail. And we literally have to fight our way out. And it's quite it's quite the achievement, if I do say so myself. We ended up barricading ourselves in the hallway where the jail cells were. We managed to bust our way out of our cells, use one of the bars as a crowbar to fight off the Drow guards, pick up their armor pieces, save them for future use, and I at this point had ended up grabbing improved unarmed strike. And the great thing about being a fighter with speccing into shields is that unarmed strikes and shield attacks are both in the close weapon group for fighters. And so I get all of my bonuses, all of my attack and damage bonuses. I am slugging the fuck out of these Drow guards without my armor, mind you. I have, over the course of this couple of sessions in this jail, taken literal doors and used them as shields. And over the course of this session and the following one, we managed to hole ourselves up in this corridor, fight off the drow guards that were guarding our cells, managed to beat the living tar out of Suya and whoever that other guard was who bitched out and ran away.
Zelgius.
And Zelgius, one of Giorno's guards who turned out to be a vampire all along. So we beat the
feel when the most powerful foe in Fire Emblem runs away like a bitch.
I know. He ran away like a bitch, and not only that, he cast some sort of like ice wall to prevent us from following after him.
It should be stated that during this entire time we had no magic either.
During this entire time we were under the effect of an anti-magic shield. So there were no magic, no supernatural abilities, nothing.
No equipment either.
No equipment either, because we were in jail. The only equipment we were able to get were the improvised weapons that we were able to pull from, just the sheer bullshit of that situation. So after we hold ourselves up in there, we then take the armor of the guards and disguise ourselves as drow guards. And we make our escape. We get our equipment. We rescue a silver dragon that had been cooped up in that prison as well. Which
that would be Shikasta.
Yes, Shikasta, the silver dragon. Which, by the way, Dio, question, why would you put a silver dragon in a jail with a bunch of inmates? I just find that odd. Anyway, moving on. We disguise our...
Can I interject a question?
Yes.
Is this the same... So Dio is ultimately the big bad here.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Is he the same Dio that followed Ragnael and prior events?
Yes. It is the same Dio that is from 400 years ago. However, something happened and he has now taken on the essence of Morgalla.
I'll tell you what happened. He doesn't have my guidance.
Also, small thing to add. I think I never told you, but I think it's okay to tell you now. The thing that happened in the jail,
right?
Like the whole escape thing, was possible thanks to Solar.
Yes, it was possible thanks to one of Solar's other characters that we have yet to meet. And I love him for it. It's so good. Anyway, moving on, we make our escape, we get our equipment, and we plane shift out of there. Well, our party teleports, and then Roland, Shikasta, and I think, what was the other character? Shadilay, all plane shift out of that area, and we end up meeting back at the grand city of Renfall. And so, getting closer to the present day, we meet our friends by the name of, what's his name? And I forget his name immediately after.
Lancer?
The underworld guy.
Oh, Scanlan.
Scanlan. Yeah, we meet Hydra and their leader, Scanlan, who invites us to partake in quite a few different... Let's see. Did we know Scanlan before meeting Fang?
I think no.
No, but Scanlan knew Reese and...
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember now. So we ended up meeting up in Renfall with Reese. And then through him, we ended up meeting Scanlan. And then also, in addition to that, through our traveling through the city streets, we end up meeting Fang and Tasuku. Who
I guess
who at the time were also mercenaries who were after your and Grom.
Who were after our bounties, yes.
Fayara disappears.
Yes, Fayara disappears somehow. We don't know where she is currently.
I think she just walked away.
Yeah, we don't know where she is. We don't know where she is. But we don't know if she will be back or not, because she never said one way or another in character. Hey. So, we meet Fang and Tasuku, who are currently hunting the bounties of the Wall and Grom and their previous affiliates who are no longer with us. During this time, we also have Ori, who ends up deciding to go off on his own as well to try and...
he went back to Manhattan to check up on...
Yeah, he went to Manhattan to check up on the previous group that left with us to the... Shakasta, Roland, and Shadilay. They plane shifted to Manhattan, and so Ori left the party to go check on them, make sure they were okay, after ensuring that we had made it to Renfall. So we end up meeting another Grippli, and the current member of our team. I forget her name.
Metapah.
Metapah. Yeah, we meet Metapah, who was Tedpa's fiance. What a twist. So, we end up meeting Metapah, and it's quite a heartfelt meeting. She's very direct. I'll give her that. She's very direct.
She's one of the few characters that has been able to damage the wall.
Oh yeah, she did that.
It's true. It's true. She did. That said, yeah. That said, after meeting our current party, we ended up meeting someone by the name of Scanlan, who ran an underground organization named Hydra. Now, Hydra is sort of like a thieves guild almost. It's sort of like gangsters and all that. But we have this assortment of characters that we interact with, and through them we learn of a plot to bring vampires into Renfall, and their operation was beginning in the next few days. There was going to be a caravan that arrived from both sides of the city. And so me, the Wall, and our party took care of the southern gates, and the group of Hydra's group, took care of the northern gates. And so we took care of ours quite swiftly. I think it was like 2, 3, maybe 4 rounds worth.
Yeah, it was
combat.
Not
it was about 30 seconds worth of combat, and we completely decimated them, and we took one of the vampires captive, and then we proceeded to go up to the northern gates and assist with the defeat of was it a green dragon?
Yeah, that sounds right.
It was super old green dragon.
It was a green dragon, and we ended him rightly with his own attack. You can thank Fang. You can thank Goody as Fang for that, because spell reflection's a bitch.
It's like, oh, targeting me, bounce.
And the thing was about to run away.
Turns to stone. Dragon is up in the air, flying as he's casting this. Turns to stone, falls, and shatters as he falls into his own acid pool and disintegrates.
Dissolves.
And just... And we managed to save all of the characters, and then eventually bring them all back with a Raise Dead spell.
And I wasn't... at the time, the dragon was just straight up targeting me, and rather than face the insta-kill, I figured it better just keep the insta-kill spell off of me, and then and then flee, because my flee plan I would have gotten away no problem. But then the dragon nat won his own spell.
Yep, he nat won his fortitude save. Got him. And boom, we've more or less brought ourselves to more or less present day. We've interrogated that vampire that we captured and killed him because he tried to get away. One of his guardsmen was your brother. Yeah, one of his guardsmen was my brother, whom we promptly resurrected with our Raise Dead spells. And then let's see. After that, we managed to get the information of the location of the vampire's operations here in Renfall, which apparently turned out to be in the Brando Manor from way, way back when. And so we investigated the manor, and it turns out it was like very much abandoned. And upstairs apparently was some sort of teleportation circle. And our idiot of a mage decided to teleport himself in. And so we followed him in, and we decided, you know what? While we're here, we might as well take care of all of the nastiness that's going on down here. And so, through trials and trepidations, we managed to spot Suya Brando, kill him, and find a potential ally in one of the vampires who allegedly has no love for her ancient her ancient father. And so we traveled briefly to the north of this dungeon and killed this big giant colossus thing, and then went upstairs and we saw Duncan, who promptly gave us some exposition and some gifts before promptly getting Thanos. And then we heard clapping in the darkest part of the room. And that's where we left off session 34.
Okay, no roll initiative, bitch.
So, guys, how do you like my brief summary that took about 50 minutes to go through? That's roughly 34 D&D sessions worth of content condensed into about an hour worth of summary. So, I think that's pretty good.
It was really good. It was pretty
If
spot on the important parts.
Yeah. So if anyone has anything they'd like to add, or if anyone in the chat or in the call for that matter has any questions regarding things that may have happened, feel free to post them now.
Okay. Let's see.
The floor is open. And it's staring at you.
I'm just gonna meme the game time chat real quick here.
Oh my god.
No, you.
God damn it.
So, in the meantime, I do have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Okay.
Have you been enjoying the campaign so far?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely. I'm the thing is, a lot of the stuff that you've got here, a lot of it's original, and some of it does pull from the main campaigns, but a lot of the stuff that Ebony has come up with in here, it's completely original stuff. It's all, aside from the occasional character name, which I'm pretty sure I don't play Fire Emblem, but I don't know if Goody might be able to pick up on some of those names, but
I picked up on some Fire Emblem, some Fate here and there, just little tidbits.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff that Ebony comes up with in here is totally original stuff, and I applaud him for it because he's just sort of going off of what I've been posting, or what we've been doing along main campaign. He hasn't had many peeks behind the curtain, mostly because he hasn't really asked, because I think he's doing pretty fine on his own. He's got his own little 400-year time skip worth of content to pull from. So, you know, it's great. Pushy Horse asks, why is it JoJo based? It's not JoJo based mostly, but
influenced.
Let's see. Okay, it's the stuff is influenced because we like JoJo. It's fair,
and
the fairest assessment. Basically, what ended up happening was we wanted to make a new campaign for when Narrator Pony wasn't able to make it to main campaign. And so we created a evil campaign. And Chaotic was running that, and I thought, you know what? I have an idea. I'm going to make Dio Brando, but in D&D. And it was a thought experiment initially. And then it turns out we decided to bring it in within the Narrator timelines. And then Secrets of Eternity got started. And then it turns out we have Dio from that old campaign as the villain of this campaign, the big bad villain of this campaign. So it all sort of intertwines together in some loose way, shape, or form. But a lot of it, it's just us having fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think it was because by the time I was thinking on Secrets of Eternity, I remember Dio being literally not only because it was Dio, but also the way it was played by you. I kind of like the that character a lot, and it was like, I want this guy to win in a way.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm glad you liked my portrayal of him, because a lot of it is me thinking of what would Dio Brando do if he were in this general setting. And then memes aside, the whole bread thing is just sort of a meme at this point. But a lot of that just is me brainstorming on what would Dio Brando do if he were in in this setting. And then I ended up bringing him in as an antagonist for main campaign for a little while, just like the first little arc of the story, just to give them a more, because Morgalla was looming in the background, but that was like level 20. That was end game type bad guy. But I wanted to give them a bit more of a direct antagonist that they could focus their attention towards for a little while, just to
a lesser scope villain.
A lot lesser scope, a bit more self-contained, and once he was defeated, he would just disappear. And then Evil Campaign became what it is.
Yeah. And I think Evil Campaign was really the thing that got me to want to plan things, because I think you've seen I've been doing some nudges to Ragnael, mostly of all the characters aside Dio that I've been doing nudges to. Ragnael has been one of the most the ones I've done the most to.
Mm-hmm.
Done the most what to, you said?
Nudges.
He's had Ragnael's had a lot more influence sort of in this campaign than a lot of the other NPC, like a lot of the other player characters from the old campaigns. So, yeah. And that's sort of reflects how Dio would have likely viewed Ragnael as given everything that's happened in an evil campaign. So yeah.
And I'm also excited to. I'm really excited to for what's coming. Because even though it's close to the end, and I don't want it to end, it's also gonna be,
It's gonna be great. We're in the end game now, fellas. Also, after this, guess what we're doing? We're doing a Kingmaker campaign with a B. With a B.
We're gonna fuck this bee.
We're gonna fuck this B. And you know
I can
what?
build the machines for that.
And you know what? I'm gonna be playing the B.
I'm gonna fuck up that bee.
I'd like to see you try. I'd like to see you try. So
But yeah,
with all that said, this is a fun campaign. This is a fun campaign. I'm looking forward to what's in store. Whether or not it's good or bad or just complete GM bullshit, I am ready for whatever you have to throw at us.
You know what they say. You can't go worse than The Last Jedi.
It's true. You can't go worse than The Last Jedi. After all, the Force is only about lifting rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm my confidence for Kyonin campaign is now soared. Thank you guys.
You're
That's exactly
welcome.
what I needed to hear.
Yeah. 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 Kill them all.
Die.
Kill the past.
Someone join the chat.
Hey,
Luna.
Hello there.
I'm lurking.
You're not lurking. You're
You're
you have
welcome to
spoken.
join the chat.
You have spoken. You have spoken, and therefore you are in. Also, how have you been? How have you been enjoying Secrets of Eternity? I just got done with my 1 hour diatribe of the first 34 sessions of this campaign. TLDR, Dio bad.
Deal, bitch.
I admit that I'm a little bit out of the loop on Secrets of Eternity. I know about DiGiorno Gala, and I know about the dragon who died in his own
Morgana?
acid.
No, the green dragon. So TLDR, Goldman bad. Gold
Did you wanna
Vampire
go?
Man bad.
So Pizza Vampire bad.
Yes, Pizza Vampire bad. Oh, I almost forgot. He took on... I almost totally forgot this. The reason that we call him DiGiorno Gala is because he has taken on the essence of Morgala, and he is also using the body of Giorno Brando as his current body. So he's sort of like a body snatcher type thing going on now.
Kind of like an Orochimaru.
Yeah,
Well,
like an Orochimaru thing, but with a dragon instead of a dragon vampire instead of a pedo snake.
Well, Dio always wanted to achieve heaven.
Oh, we're sending them straight to hell.
Yeah, sorry, we're sending them to the other place.
We're sending them to hell's hell.
We're sending
vampire can dream.
him to the home for infinite losers.
Hey, a vampire can dream.
They can dream of death.
Fuck them up.
Fuck 'em
So,
up.
do you have any questions, guys, about the campaign? Or
Okay, I just went and looked in the chat, and I have to agree with Guti. That did not look like a cloaked figure. I'm sorry.
It's pretty good.
yeah, I realized until it was too late.
That's
It's drawn to scale.
I'm sorry. That's
Blue
exactly.
ribbon.
I'm sorry, that's exactly what it looks like.
It's drawn to scale.
I also remember doing a surprise in the background and Duncan just poking out the window.
Yeah,
It's
that's
drawn
pretty
to
great.
no Wooten. It's drawn to scale. Soft.
Wow. See, this is the first page. This is the first panel of a Rule 34 comic. I swear to God. Look at her face in the top panel. Look at it.
Oh yeah,
look
the
at it and
top
tell me
right
that's
panel.
not-
The top
Look
right
at it.
panel. Oh god, if you read it from a manga standpoint, it really is. Oh no. Oh
my
no. Oh no. And thus, I think we've reached a point where we can probably call it a stream for tonight. So
I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's okay.
I
We
broke it.
broke the stream. But for those of you who are wanting to tune in afterwards, I was thinking of doing like another They Are Billions live stream, because that was pretty fun the other day. So I think after we finish up this fireside chat here, I might stream They Are Billions for a little while, just to do a little something.
Oh my god.
Well, sounds good.
Just seriously, tell me that's not the first panel of a hentai.
I mean, do you know me?
Reversal. Know you. God damn it. Brilliant. All right. So, for those of you tuning in here, oh my god, people are still on about the fucking Kermit the Frog. Yes, I can do Kermit the Frog. I get it. That is a thing. It's not that fucking interesting of a thing. It's just a fucking voice impression. Y'all calm down about the fucking Kermit.
And that you should have ended the stream on that. Just
You know what? I am. Fuck you guys. We're ending the stream now. God damn it, millennials.